Objective: first, to study the background party of Hamas and Fatah. Second, to study the role and the leadership of Hamas and Fatah in the military and politics based on Islam. Third, to find out why today's teenagers are unable to emulate the moral of Hamas and Fatah. Fourth, to analyze ways to make Hamas and Fatah as an idol in our leadership now. And the last one, to suggest for cultivating a spirit of leadership in today's youth. Methodology. Our methodology is through the library method. For example, using the book, journal, article, newspaper, and magazine.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Alvin bin Sami. I want to talk about two political parties in Palestine, which is Hamas and Fatah. Hamas is an abbreviation of Harakat al-Muqawamah al-Islamiyah. The name of this party before it became a political party was Al-Majma' al-Islami. This party was founded by Sheikh Ahmad Yassin, which is inspired by the Muslim Brotherhood known as Ikhwan al-Muslimin, founded by Imam Hassan al-Banna. This party was created a military wing called the Palestine Mujahid Filistini. After that, another movement against Israel was emerged, the Intifada Movement, on December 8, 1987. There are some Hamas leaders who are proved by the enemy of Islam, namely Sheikh Ahmad Yassin. He has been arrested and imprisoned several times, but he still stands firm against Israel for the peace of the Palestinians. The second one is Abdul Aziz Arantisi, who had rebuilt Hamas after the death of Sheikh Ahmad Yassin. Third is Ismail Hania. Next is Khalid Mashal. The last one is Nizar Rayyan. Al-Qassam is one of the military wings of Hamas feared by Israel. To join the group, there are several conditions that must be complied with by young people, namely get permission from the head of the parents first. Get the permission from the head of the mosque near the place of residence to ensure that they do not leave the Salah Subuh for 3 consecutive months. Not to commit immorality, obligatory to learn about the interpretation of Quran, obligatory to listen to Quran one day, one visit, and many more. Next political party is Fatah. The name of this party is from Arabic word Fans, which means open and conquest. This party was created by Yasser Arafat and Khalid al-Wazir. This party was developed by Commander Organization Structure in 1973. The leader of this party was Mahmoud Abbas. This party also established 3 military organizations, namely the Al-Aqsa Matrix Brigades, 417, and the Military Tanzim. They prioritized negotiation over war in resolving Palestinian-Israel conflict.
The role and the leadership of Hamas in the military field is based on Islam. The role and goal of Hamas is to fight for the land of the sanctity of Muslims, namely Jerusalem, and to make the whole of Palestine land the right of its own people, or to be called liberation. The Hamas movement is characterized by a party of national struggle for Islam and makes jihad to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala as its basic. In Islam, war is permissible and the order to fight only with enemies, not in peace situation. Their mission is to adhere to the manners of war in Islam, which is to only fight with the enemy and does not involve the public and society, especially women and children. The leadership of Hamas and its military forces have shown that Islam is a religion that always maintains in its sanctity, his ummah, and so on, which is shumul. Leadership and role of Fatah in politics. Fatah is the party that leads the administration in the West Bank. Fatah has the same goals and role as Hamas, which is to liberate the land of the Al-Aqsa from chaos and dread of the main enemy, which is Israel. The leadership and the role that Fatah has shown in leading the administrative in the West Bank has left a good impression on Palestine. The state of their struggle goals are different despite having the same basic of struggle to liberate the entire Palestinian state from Israel occupation. In fact, the ceasefire carried out in the recent Al-Quds War was an invasion initiative through the administration of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
According to the Islamic perspective, leadership is a task that must be implemented as best as possible, while a leader is responsible for managing, administering, and implementing all the tasks that have been entrusted to him as best as possible. The first characteristic feature of Islamic leadership is charisma and credibility. A charismatic person has qualities in leadership or certain traits that make him able to influence or be stimulus to society, while credibility is the nature of trustworthiness or reliability. Secondly is a responsibility. The responsibility of a leader include the obligation to preserve religion, govern the country and the people as a whole, maintaining national peace and security, and maintaining diplomatic relations with the other countries. Lastly, characteristic must be have to be a leader is a confident self-confidence. A leader needs to have the courage to face all challenges to maintain a good system of government. They must be there to uphold the trust and all the rights that exist on this earth. Alright, now I want to talk about why today's teenagers find it difficult to emulate the moral of Hamas and Fatah. Okay, firstly is lack of religious education. The poorly inculcated Islamic personality values in adolescence cause them to be easily influenced by negative external culture. Parents need to apply educate religious knowledge to their children so that they can distinguish between a good and the bad things. In school, teachers need to play a role in instilling positive values in students so that they do not choosing the wrong friends. Secondly is failure of authority. The business of pursuing the country's economic progress has caused the authorities to forget that the morals and ethics of the youth are increasing being neglected, while this group of teenagers will be the future leaders one day. Rapid economic and technological developments have influenced the social and personality development of adolescents. Right? Lastly is influence of the mass media. The use of information and communication technology is growing rapidly in Malaysia. Parental negligence in controlling children's use of information technology will adversely affect their morals. Parents who play less of a role in the formation and development of the personality of adolescents will cause personality conflict of adolescents.
Idol of Hamas and Fatah military for use. Point number 1. Increase faith and faith in God. This is because Hamas adherence to its charter principle, which states jihad as the only way to liberate Palestine, as well as rejects negotiations and peace. This is to increase our faith and be prepared to face the trials and challenges of this world. Point number 2. Respect for each other and love of homeland. As a leader, we must respect with each other, even non-Muslim, because they are also people who stay in this country. So we must protect them and together to keep our country. Point number 3. Wise in setting strategy. Hamas has always been committed to maintain respect for fellow Palestinians even if they are non-Muslim, and respecting the existence of other movement organizations. Mahmoud Abbas, he has conducted diplomacy to European countries in order to raise the image and status of Palestine. In this case, we can see the youth who will replace the current leader must to think of the right strategy to keep country in peaceful state, because youth have a broader mindset, especially in era technology. They can plan wisely to make sure national security is safe.
The suggestion that can be made for today's years so that there is the nature of leadership in each of them. They divided into three parts. First, country. Second, parents. And third, oneself. A country needs to play the role of himayah, to protect, khidmah, to serve the people, and tanmiyah, to develop. many suggestions can be done by country to improve quality of leadership in adolescence. Among them are: the government needs to step up campaigns, especially for the young. Second, for the parents play an important role in educating children to be great no matter what field that benefits human beings, because parents are the first teachers who teach children either towards good or towards evil. So, parents should be the role model to children. And the last one, for oneself. Self is the main pillar of one's success in leading. If only the parents play a role but their own self is busy with the world, as in the verse in the Quran Surah Al-Ankabut, A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim, wa ma hadzal hayatud dunya illa lahun wa la'ib wa inna ad-daral akhirata lahiyal hayawan law kanu ya'lamun. And there is no life in this world except jokes and games. And verily, hereafter is the real life if they knew. They have to adhere to the concept of monotheism to God and to have admirable moral according to Islamic view.
So, the conclusion is the independence of the Palestinian people will be easier if both sides, Hamas and Fatah, can unite and go hand in hand to defeat the Zionists. Finding a solution to the Palestine-Israel conflict through armed struggle and violence has become one of the most well-known forms of approach among the Palestinians themselves. This is evidenced when the involvement of those participating in this operation has been increasing in recent times, and the involvement of many among young people, whether they are in Islamic or national stream groups. We as Muslim or non-Muslim need to support the struggle either in the form of war or diplomacy, because the Palestinians desperately need support from all, even we not with them.